Cheryl, that pro-Palestinian rally here ended hours ago, but tonight supporters of the Palestinian movement are still making their way through the loop, waving flags and celebrating that ceasefire and a small amount of progress they believe was made after the last 11 days. The Palestinian cause is marching forward with momentum.
We just want to live in prosperity. We want to live where we're okay with having generations of our kids going up just like we are in America.
After days of deadly rocket fire and shelling between Israel and Gaza.
And the fact that people on the other side are saying it's both sides when Palestinians are dying at a ratio of 23-1.
A brokered ceasefire deal is holding for now.
Hamas holds to the ceasefire and they stop indiscriminately lobbing rockets into Israel. That's good news. That's good news for the Israelis. That's good news for the region.
Palestinian Americans believe this movement helped push that deal.
Because of all the protests around the world, we got the ceasefire, which obviously doesn't do much for the Palestinians, but it's a start.
The United States has long expressed unwavering support for Israel, sending billions of dollars to aid the country's defense.
And I think the president was clear at the beginning of this situation that Israel had a right to defend herself, and so did Secretary Blinken.
That doesn't sit well with Palestinian Americans.
Ending the occupation, not giving $3.8 billion a year to Israel, not signing a $735 million weapons deal.
Who are rallying social justice movements to join their fight for an independent state.
They're beginning to understand the connection between all of these things.
And we're here today because we oppose Israel's assault on Gaza. Israel doesn't need more bombs and more money for weapons to defend itself. What Israel needs to do is it needs to stop its stranglehold on Gaza and its occupation and displacement of the Palestinian people.
If you have fears about what it might mean for you to be here, I understand that. If you are afraid about what you might lose in Jewish community or in your work or in your family, I understand that, and what I say to you is know that you are not alone, and so many of us here have been through that same experience, myself included, and you are not alone.
Well, there are more and more Jews, more and more American Jews who stand up against Israel's oppression of the Palestinian people. As you can see here, there are many people, more and more people who no longer support Israeli apartheid, and not just American Jews. I am an Israeli Jew, and I think that seeing the Jewish people in general as a monolith, associating between Jewish and Zionist as if it is the same thing, is buying into Israeli propaganda.
Scenes of joy and jubilation for Palestinians soon after the ceasefire began. But this is in Gaza. The celebrations are in the neighboring Arab country of Jordan.
For sure, we are very happy because the victory of Hamas is a victory for us, and it's a victory for Palestine. Today, Gaza has won, and soon Palestine will win. All Arab nations will enjoy this victory. Today, we came to express our happiness for the victory of Gaza.
But Israel says this is not a victory for Hamas, and said it agreed to the ceasefire as it had achieved its military objectives. But global public support was squarely behind the Palestinian cause, as in this demonstration in Indonesia.
We will continue to struggle to restore the rights of Palestinians so that they can be sovereign, as we are driving out of our homes, so this kind of thing being justified by the world is impossible. Even ordinary people will not accept it.
The outpouring of support wasn't just restricted to Muslim countries, like this one in Tokyo.
There are Muslim people here, but I am here because Japanese people also understand and we respect that position.
In New York, the celebrations ended in police intervention after Palestinians and Israelis clashed during demonstrations in Times Square. Back in occupied East Jerusalem, Palestinians say they are happy the fighting has ended, but also say the international community must ensure the root of the problem is addressed.
The first and main request for the ceasefire is to allow Sheikh Jarrah residents to return to their homes. The second request is not entering Al-Aqsa Mosque, beating people, attacking Al-Aqsa and harassing Muslims. This is a holy place for all Muslims.
It remains to be seen if the peace talks will make that happen, or if Israel will continue to use force to get its way in occupied Palestine.